Hey guys, welcome to the shop. My name's Kyle, the Tool Rambler, and if you watched my last video, you'll know that I'm really into these Craftsman Ratchets. These are ones that I've either acquired over the years or just found laying around the farm. Some of them were in pretty bad state of repair, and I was able to refurbish most of them. Didn't have to order any repair kits or anything for these. These are the ratchets that work. This, I have not done anything on this particular one yet. You can hear it's kind of, if you can hear that, sounds pretty grinding. This is one that I've refurbished, and listen to that. You can't hear anything. Just barely. So I've taken it apart, lubed it up. It's in pretty good shape. So my last video, I talked about the ones that I couldn't repair. This is my spare parts bucket. Most of these, I've got all the parts for the exception of a few, and I'll go over that later. But the biggest problem with these, all of these, 4 of them, was this. This is a quick release. This is the anvil, this is the gear, anvil here. There's a quick release. So if it works, that little ball right there retracts when you push this button. So if you have a socket on it, let me get it on there, it's not coming off. I cannot get it off. But if you push the button, it falls right off. That's the way it's designed. Some people prefer the quick release style. Others like the ones you can just pull on and off. I prefer the quick release. It makes sure, you know, you're not going to lose a socket that way. It's not going to come off. Sometimes you're working on the fastener, and if it's a particularly stuck one, it'll get stuck on there, and you'll pull the ratchet off, and then you've got the socket stuck on the bolt. So with the quick release, it's not coming off. You can pull it off. So that's one of the reasons I like it. These are the Craftsman. This is the 1/2 inch, and I'm going to be focusing on the 1/2 inch today because it's the biggest one that I have, and it's the easiest to work on because the parts are bigger. You've got a little bit more tolerance in there. These little bitty guys, I'll show you in a moment, but there's just a little ball detent in there that when you move the pawl, it holds it in there, and it's like the size of bird shot. It's tiny. This one is bigger. It's more like a BB, so it's easier to work on. But anyway, the reason I love these ratchets, they're not the best. I mean, as you can see, they're pretty clunky. There's nothing really aesthetically pleasing about them. They're not shiny like some of the polished chrome ones that you see from other companies. But they've got something going for them that I love. And it's right there. Those 3 letters, USA. This is back from when Sears and Craftsman was owned by Sears at the time, made most of their tools in the United States. Back in the late 80s, when I was 17 years old, I worked at Sears. Now, I didn't work in the hardware department, which I wish I did. I worked in the menswear department, selling Johnny Carson suits and Levi's, which wasn't really my passion. But on my breaks and when I had time, I'd walk over to the hardware department, look at all the tools. And like a lot of men my age, I dreamed of the day when I would have a garage full of Craftsman tools. Well, unfortunately, due to some really horrible business decisions, Sears went under, Craftsman got sold, and now Craftsman is sold in Lowe's, Ace Hardware, a few other places like that. You can get it on Amazon. And they're all made in either China or Taiwan. Now, I'm not opposed to Taiwanese tools. Taiwan makes some really good tools. China, on the other hand, their tools are of questionable quality. I don't like them. Like this, I've got other pick sets. This is just one I have. This is a cheap one from China. I think you got like 8 picks for like $8. I don't know. They're okay, but I prefer the American made if I can get them. Anyway, my problem, if you go on eBay and look for the parts kits for these ratchets, the parts kits consist of the pawl, the gear, the anvil, the switch, a spring, the snap ring, and the ball bearing. It's not much, but the cheapest part kit I was able to find for these ratchets is like 35 bucks. Some of them are as much as $60 because there's no aftermarket parts kits for these. These ratchets were made by a company called Danaher, and they were made up until I think 2010 or maybe a little bit later than that. Then they moved everything overseas. But these parts kits just are not available other than new old stock. So somebody went in and bought out all the parts from an old Sears that was going out of business, and now they're selling them at a profit. The crazy part is, like I said, you can get the parts kits for $35 up to $65. But I can buy this entire ratchet in working order for like 25, 30 bucks, which has all the parts from the parts kit. Some of them are new old stock, some of them are slightly used, but I mean, these ratchets last forever. They're heavy steel. The only thing that can go in them, if you let them sit out in the rain, or like some of these were just like in a bucket in a barn, and they got pretty rusted up. But I was able to take them apart and rebuild them using just the parts that I already had. I mean, they didn't need any new parts. There's a couple parts that got lost along the way, and I'll go into that. But for now, let me get all this stuff out of the way, and I'll show you how we rebuild these ratchets. First thing you're going to need is a pair of snap ring or circlip pliers. The other thing you're going to need, what I like to have on hand, is a magnetic bowl, because I don't want to lose the parts. So remember, this one is the one that sounds like it's just grinding gears. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove that snap ring. Be very careful, because now this is under tension, so I like to grab it. I made the mistake of not doing that on a couple of them, and they went shooting across the shop, and they're somewhere in here, but I'll probably never find them. Okay, so the next thing, you want to just grab the anvil, pull straight up, and that's the faceplate. If you look at it, it needs a little cleaning, but I mean, it is paper thin. There's really nothing to that. But we'll get that cleaned up. We've got the gear, the anvil. If you notice, I think I showed you, this one works. You put the socket on, it doesn't come off, push the button, comes right off. So that's in good shape. If you look inside the ratchet, it's pretty good. If you look right down there, see underneath the pawl, that little BB, that's the part you got to be very careful, because there is a spring that runs down in here. And if you take the pawl out and you're not careful, that ball can go shooting across the shop as well, and I've lost a couple of those. So anyway, that pawl comes out. Take a look at it. It's in pretty good shape. I mean, probably hardly ever used. So I'll set that over there. Then the switch just slides out. This is a 4th generation ratchet. This is when Sears was trying to save some money, and these switches are plastic. So if you notice, it doesn't stick to my magnetic bowl, but they work. But if they work, if you lose that, if it breaks, you're probably gonna, unless you can find a donor ratchet, like, you know, my parts kit here, you're probably gonna end up having to buy one of those $35 repair kits, which for a $25 ratchet doesn't make a lot of sense. So then you've got, let me see if I can get my pliers here. You've got the little ball bearing right there. Set that aside. It's about the size of a BB. And then if you look down in there, you've got a spring. And we just pull that out. If you look at that spring, it's in really good shape. I mean, it's silver, it's clear, no rust, anything. So this ratchet is probably just sat in a toolkit, unused for quite a while. It's got a little bit of schmutz on it, but I'll get that. I mean, it's the shiniest of all the ratchets I have, but if you notice, it is bone dry. There's never been any lubricant in here. So I'm gonna lube this up, and what I'm gonna use is the same thing Snap-on recommends. It's this silicone super lube. It's synthetic, it lasts forever. It's food grade. I mean, it doesn't last forever, but it lasts a really long time. So it's real easy to do. I just like to take the gear. Well, before I do that, let's clean this up a little bit. I'm not going to go real deep into it because I'm just trying to get this one lubed up. Luckily, this one was really clean, so we didn't really have to do much on it. So I'm just going to put healthy coating of super lube on that. And, well, let's do it this way first. I've got myself in a bind. But we're going to take the spring, get a little bit of lube on that. I got some in there. Oh, I thought that was lube. Here, we'll get some lube on that. We're going to drop the spring down in that hole. It's pretty easy to do. Pop it in like that. Now, if you buy some of the repair kits, sometimes they'll come with a little tool. But if you watch Doc on Last Best Tool, he showed how to make this tool. And that's how you put this back in. What I like to do, get a little bit of grease on there. This is just some 12 gauge wire that I've bent, gone over to the anvil, kind of hammered it out flat. So I'll put that ball bearing right on there, like that. This is when you need 3 hands, but you set it right on top of that spring. See, it kind of got away from me there, but it'll work. Just, and that's what you want to avoid. So let's do this. I'm going to take the switch. The switch has to go in next because got to put the right in first because it kind of sits down in a lip in there. And then you're going to take your pawl. You want to make sure, see there's 2 sides to it. That big end goes down in there. So you've got to carefully hold that ball down. And come on, work with me here. Okay, once it's compressed, you want to get your pawl in there, and there we go. So now you can see it's captured, and all that does is hold that in place. So I'm going to take my lubed up gear. I'm going to pop it right in there. Make sure we get all that goodness and that grease in there. I'm going to lay that down, clean my finger off. I'm going to clean this face plate off. Pop it in there. Take our snap ring. I'm going to get that cleaned off. I mean, there we go. Got it right in there. I like to get it centered just because that's how I am. But right there, and we're going to give it a turn. And I don't know if you can tell, but those gears aren't grinding anymore. They're just turning. Flip it, it goes the other way. So there we go. We've rebuilt that. Now, I know you can go and look at 50 other videos on how exactly to do that. I like to try to do something different. So remember when I was saying that sometimes that ball bearing goes shooting across the room, or these circlips or spring clips get lost for the same reason when you have them under tension. If you're not careful, if you don't hold it and capture it, if it slides off, it'll go shooting across the room as well. So I had a couple of those where I lost the ball bearing. Like I said, the kit to replace these costs more than the Ratchet, but you can go on to Amazon, buy a selection of different ball bearings. These are the metric, these are the SAE, but I think I paid like $7 for each of these, and there's like 700 in here. Now, that little 1/4-inch ratchet uses, that ball bearing is like this size. This one here is more along this size, but you get, what I'm saying is you get a selection of them. So find the one that you need, it'll fit in. Like I said, these are probably about $7 a piece. Springs, same way. Go to Amazon. If you lose a spring, for like $10, you can get 300 springs. Just make sure you get the right size. But I mean, as you can see, there are what, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 20 different sizes of spring in there, and I'm sure you can use them for other things around the house when you want to fix it. And the spring clips. Amazon, once again. So for the price of one rebuild kit for one of these ratchets, I was able to get the majority of the parts that you lose for like $30. That entire kit there cost me $30 as opposed to $35 for the parts to fix one. Now, if, like I said, you lose this piece here, the switch, or if the anvil or the faceplate are somehow broken, lost, there are no generic parts for that. But don't go on to eBay and let them take advantage of you and pay $40, $50 for a repair kit for these ratchets, because it's just not worth it. Like I said, you can buy the entire ratchet for almost half the price of some of the repair kits. And these aren't the greatest ratchets. I mean, there are much better ratchets out there, but they work. And I really like them. Like I said, made in USA. Easy to repair. Just takes a little bit of finesse. So if you are interested in tools like I am, go out and work on your ratchets, get them cleaned up, take good care of them. And with that, I'm going to close out my second video of all time. And just remember, it's not hard to repair stuff. You just have to have the curiosity and the dexterity to do it. So if you've got a mechanical mind, you can get it done. So with that, everybody, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I need all the subscribers I could get. And with that, ramble on.